So you got my program over there.
So we're not facing this one?
No. All you're doing is you got
Running
running
holes. Running holes.
You made a print sheet, didn't you? You made a print sheet, didn't you?
Print of that.
Yeah. Alright. We'll use mine. He's got one on his phone.
And that's the running program?
This will be your student program that's on the bottom. Because the student program is the one you guys are supposed to write. I don't have a problem walking through the first one with you. Then after this, we're going to walk through just the new sections, and I'll do it in the part that I'm supposed to program. Does that make sense? So that you guys still have to program. It'll be similar to one, like this one looks a lot like the bike saw you guys made. It's got a tap hole. So the next one is going to be similar. The next one is G41 and G42. So I have one that looks similar to yours. Don't listen to what I'm saying because they're a different class and you're going to be all confused.
This is still the right class we're though.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I've got 111s and 117s. They're in 117. So they're in your class, but they're not.
Got you. Oh, that's gonna look down there.
So I got to here, and then it did this for the left side, but it just stopped after it did.
Okay, one of the 117s are what I got you.
Oh, I can't even hear to check the code.
I can help you with that. They had it last semester. I can't help you and teach.
No,
You got all your stuff straightened out?
yeah, so when when I bought this thing, I guess the hard drive in it, the thing that sticks on top of it, wasn't very tight, so it got loose. And I took it on this morning, or this afternoon, because I was like, I picked my laptop up, go to school, started to ship early, and I called Dell, and Dell was like, well, give me your name and your address. I'm like, you know, I don't think you're Dell. Hung up, and I bought it here, and yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, guy.
I'm not sure.
I'm all you.
Big guy. I know what you're talking about. I've seen it.
He got it. He opened it and fixed it. So now it's working. Should I go ahead and do like some of the lessons?
That's what I was going to have you do, because I got to stay here with them.
Yeah, no problem.
So I was going to make sure you get into there. And I'll go through
Yeah,
your stuff as I go through theirs too a little. Please don't listen, because you'll be all confused.
And put my earbud, dude.
Huh?
Put my earbud, dude.
We got one student that learns better that way.
I like to say it myself, but like most of the time I get into my music and then I'm just like.
It doesn't bother me as much in here as it does out in the shop, because out in the shop I can't hear it, so we sit over here running. But
What do you do? Oh shit. One student was like, yeah, you can be a speaker, listen to code, you can put your earbuds in and jam out while you're working with.
so that's nice to know your boss on the first day. Just because you can't get the machine to do it.
No, you don't. You're like, oh shit.
Uh-huh.
Let me get logged into my thing.
Where'd you run? Gonna make your guys friends or something? How much this year already got done? All of it?
I'm just starting.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I just got the bullshit running program shit. So I'm writing down my tools that I need so I can get the RPMs, the feeds done, and I can just reference it as I write it.
Sounds good to me.
So tool-wise, I've got a 380,000 drill, 420,000 drill, half-inch end mill, and a 12, 1 inch or half-inch 13 tap,
We gotta know both ends too, so I did that with like a 3/4.
and a 3/4 too.
I know the ends with a 3/4.
Okay.
More ridge and more reach.
Yeah.
I did it just like I did the other one. Remember how it milled both ends and then it punched the holes? Now don't answer but like half the questions. I want him to answer too. You can answer it, just try to let him answer like half of them.
Alright.
Otherwise, I don't know what's going on in his brain.
I'm mostly brain dead from work right now.
Changing the wear changes nothing. I've tried something else on both sides and it doesn't change anything at all.
That's the problem with comping it in the freaking computer.
The thing about changing the tool diameter, but I don't know how to do that without having it
It
explode.
should cut right. I wonder if we just go find you a sharp knife, you know? That might. What's he use a quarter in there?
Yeah.
Really, if you didn't have that, nobody else is having this problem. Which makes me think it's your end mount. There's a problem with popping it in the computer.
Yeah.
The secure one is my longer canvas credit. Was it my should be like the 0127 dash I was about to call. I was gonna look it up and call
I can look that up for you. You know how to do that?
What?
How do you get on the school's secure Wi-Fi?
I forget what the domain was.
That's what I keep.
What you do is, like, it's gonna ask for, like, username, password.
Yeah.
So your username is your normal school username.
Just not the whole email, just the first part.
It would be the whole email.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm doing wrong then. Okay.
And then it would be the password you got associated with it.
Okay.
And then I think it asks for, like, a domain code or something. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
I was getting ready to go into here and see if I can find it. I don't even remember what the IT's under in here.
First time I printed it, it was like landscape. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I did that.
Second time I rotated it, it was still zoomed in. I was like, no. Why can't you just auto rotate it correct? What I wanted to do it.
You gotta love that the help desk is online, because then if you can't get your computer open like he can't, or get online, you got a whole other problem, right?
Still? Or again?
Oh, I spent an hour over at IT with him yesterday, but he had our computer, not his. So now he's trying to get his on the internet. And I don't think I remember how to do it.
They should just give you like a navigation through it online. It'd be just so much easier. Here we go. Connect to the wireless network. I finally found it. SFCC secure right there.
All users should connect to SFC secure using network username and password SFC secure.
So username needs to be what state code, but
That doesn't make it play it very good. It does give you the help desk number.
actually I remember taking a picture of
You can circumvent that process and just go to one of our laptops and worry about it later if you want. Because ours will auto connect to that.
I got a quick question for you. I want to make sure I'm doing my math right. So my feed rate for my 3/4 end mill is double what my 1/2 end mill is. Is that normal?
How many flutes did you put on 3/4 inch mill?
3, 2 on the 1/2 inch.
That's part of it. RPM ought to be lower though. So if you do, it's high speed steel. So what is high speed steel? 600? So do 600 and get your RPM.
Oh, I know why. I have to do this twice. I'm using the end mill. That 1/2 inch end mill I ran as a drill for the countersinking or counter boring. That's why it's such a much lower feed.
Yeah. Of course, I usually feed it just like an end mill. You might get a better surface if you feed it slower though. Because they kind of chatter to make it ugly finish sometimes. That's what yours did, didn't it?
Yeah. No, mine chattered on the reamer.
That reamer sounds like a corkscrew.
I know.
I don't know why.
It's funny.
Oh. Let's see, back to where I was a minute ago. There. Whatever you gotta do to fix that. If you want to take a look back to IT, that's fine.
well, I was actually calling
You're just calling it, that's fine.
maybe so
You don't want to walk your football field?
I do
Or actually, multiple football fields? So, alright, what's the first thing we always start programming with? What's the first thing on my
Where your slide's at.
Nope. Where you got mine printed out? So what's the first thing at the very top of? All by itself.
File name, revision. Percentage. What's that?
Because it reads it between. You have one at the beginning and one at the end. So, percent sign. And then I always write a description of where my offsets are and what I'm doing. It's a module 1 guided project, simple vice jaws, revision number. That way when you change it, and you end up with revision height.
Really quick.
Uh,
I'm a quick one down there. That way
Okay.
I whenever we get back.
Fine. Revision A, that way when you decide that you change that to B, C, D, just like you do a print, because I've had it happen to me where I might be on revision D on my computer and I'm accidentally on C on the controller, and then you go, wow, that's stupid. So that kind of helps prevent that. It gives you a way to know it's right after that. And then stock size, and that's rough stock, so I'll put what I want to cut it at. and then Y0, X0, center of stock Z0, top and part, maybe even bottom in this class, because we will do that. And then center part and bias, little note, just like if I know my cutter is going to take off the first half inch of my 1 inch material, I'll say it has to be sticking out at least 600 thousandths out so I don't hit the bias. Put little notes in there like that. Any notes that you don't want the computer to read has to be in parentheses. And it still won't like some of this. If you load this in the computer and they put a question mark on top of it, but it'll run.
I had some
Question
drill
marks.
holes and taps to do. Program wasn't gonna work. I messed up, broke a tap, had to come back through and redo it.
So
The
then the next
guy that
thing-
was there, he came over, took a picture and erased the program. He's like, wait a minute, why don't you just put parentheses around it?
This was an ideal. I wouldn't think they'd make that mistake, but
It's not the most ideal thing to do.
yeah, exactly. But that's a really easy mistake to make.
I mean, taking a picture of the program and re-putting it after you delete it.
That's just
A lot more work.
why would you type that much? Yeah, I would just go ahead and change it, put parentheses around it, delete that one line, whatever makes you happy, right? So then the next line is just tools. So we'll go down and look at our tool list. He's already headed that way because he kind of knows what I'm going to do, don't you?
Not really.
Not really?
Something makes sense.
So yeah, let's make our tool list. Starting with the first tool we're going to use, or trying to. That doesn't mean if you get part way, you want to add a tool in between, you can throw it in there. It won't hurt nothing. But to me, it's easier if you just lay it out to start. Plus, if you put it on there like that, when it comes time to load your tools, what you guys do when you rate mine? You just look at the list and shove them in that hole, right? Same thing. Good, easy. If you write the program today and you don't run it until next Tuesday, you shouldn't have a problem because you'll still know where everything goes. So, tool number one, I told him while you were out there, I want to mill both of these ends. And then I want to, the way John and I did it, you don't all have to do it the same way, but we milled both ends, then we spot drilled all three, then deep enough that we left a chamfer on, especially this hole, but we left one on those two also. And then after that, we drilled these two, or that one, either way. Drilled the other one. I took the end mill and we went ahead and countersunk those. We do have counter bores if you choose to use one, but it's a CNC. End mill's good enough. And then we tapped that one at the end. So we'll go through how to write all of it. You guys can type it instead of writing it like John did. If you don't understand, stop me, we'll slow down, we'll go back. So tool number one, I use the same end mill that I used when I wrote your guys's, which is what I like to use when I'm doing that side, because it's, 3/4 inch is nice and rigid, right? So I'll give you guys tool number one, 750 end mill. Wow, that was nice little handwriting. So what's tool two? And how big? Remember what I said we were going to do next? Spot drill all three holes.
So you use a 1/2 inch spot drill.
If you do that, how are you going to have a chamfer and a 1/2 13 hole? You're not going to have much one.
You gotta go 3/4.
That's what we did. We went 3/4. That way you've got enough body to put like a 530, 540 diameter chamfer on that threaded hole. So T2 is a 3/4 inch spot drill. I'm gonna shorthand stuff so I don't have to write quite so much. So then tool two or tool three is what?
I put 3 each drill. So we can draw out the side goes.
You're gonna go there first. That's what I think we did. tool 3 is a whatever you drill. That was one fast walk.
That was what? I drove a normal.
Nobody there?
That would go to the.
Is there anybody there?
Huh?
You still there?
Yeah, just a little. Yeah.
So T4, what are we gonna do next? I don't really care, it's up to you guys.
The 4, I put half inch in mill.
Okay.
I can 4 on the holes.
I guess that only really leaves one option for tool 5 and 6, right?
Yeah.
Are you following us or that is already?
Half inch 13?
You're gonna tap it before you drill it?
No.
It's a different size drill bit, isn't it? So half 17 drill bit is a
Half inch.
drill bit?
No.
Oh, sorry. All I heard was half. I heard half inch. I think you're asking what size hole do you need for a half inch 13?
That's kind of what I was asking, but it's not half, is it?
No, it's like. I'm just using what's already written down.
You guys have a chart, but
Yeah, 420 thousandths.
20 chart 2764 7.
So we're gonna be a whole number drill?
Yeah, it's about 420 thousandths. Like an hour and a half over.
Was it right?
Oh, yeah.
The better you do it so long, you gotta have it memorized. First thing I want you to do is the make it something you can work on this weekend. So go into your modules. All your homework's in there. It all has 2 dates. Well, which has 2 dates, is usually 2 for you, okay? So don't stress about it. Go down to the module. You got the general safety to do, CNC blade safety, CNC blade operation.
These are
You can find the answers to, this one I think has a video, your slide. The answers to these two, you have your thick book, with your little one. Your big thick book has some CNC stuff in it, but most of those answers are out of the book. I don't know if I necessarily do this until we have a day or two to run the machines that work on it. It'll make a bit more sense. You've got CNC training lab project 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you go to module 2,
And those are things that you get
you
to
just do it in the shop, yeah. So if you go down to module 2, then you can work on these because I did leave them so if you screw them up, you can do them. So this says your Haas CNC mill operation and your Haas CNC lathe operation. Those are videos that you watch through Haas, and then they have a quiz at the end that you're supposed to get 100% off.
Okay.
So you can do that now for the weekend. And you can also do the other. I really want you to do the first safety test first. So you can do it now, and I can. You think you did it in this class already?
Yeah. Well, I did a safety.
Yeah, it's gonna be just like that.
Yeah.
So
I
do
did.
that one.
But I didn't know.
And then I'll help you. I have to help you get into that hot stuff.
Okay.
And I'll make sure you have it before you go home so you can work on it.
Oh, yeah, see? I did this one already.
So go back to the hot stuff and see if you can get through that whole process. All right, T2. Was I right?
No.
2764?
Yeah.
You're like, that's crazy, right? I was messing with my metrology students the other day. We were doing the 4-piece combination squares and ring head and all that stuff. And you know how it is to put that blade in there the very first time if you've never done it before? It's like doing a handstand on like 2 fingers while you're drinking something. It's virtually impossible for them. And I stood up here, did it behind my back, and they're all like, you don't even have to look. Just messing with them. My class is all chatty. So you keeping up with me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what's tool 6?
Half inch 13.
I don't even copy you.
Huh?
Half inch 13.
I don't need this thing to talk to me. That's all. Okay, I don't. Okay, it's talking to me. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You can also do this. I'm just gonna make that thing so I can still talk and we don't have to hear.
Oh. Okay, I clicked on this thing then.
Just don't forget I did that, because here's your volume controls mute. Yeah.
Watch me, like, try to watch a video and nothing.
Uh-huh.
Who me know?
That'll be exactly what happens. So tool 6 is?
Half inch 13. Tap.
Alright. So now we're done with the fun stuff, right? So what's the first thing I wrote after that? That's actually a program line. Yeah, I always do that too. I write what the tool is, just so it's there, so I know which tool it should pull up, and it's right there in front of me every time. So tool 1 was a 3/4 inch mill. Tool 1's not so bad because you can still see this, but when we get later, it becomes a bigger deal. And then I started writing program after that, correct? Should be, yeah. So what's the first one going to say?
T1 and 6.
T1. What's it stand for?
Tool change.
Tool change to tool 1, right? Alright. So what's after that? Yeah, I'll go to that website. And you have to do that to know about each of the questions on the website. And I'll try registration. This is where I can go.
Oh, no, I did something else.
Yeah, we didn't do this one. That's what the video. We had a pass it backwards around the last year, it's like,
I can go on other tests.
go ask your other partner in crime out there. See if he remembers how to get around it. So, what do I do next?
G0, G2,
G0, G what?
G20, G40,
G80,
G49, G80, G90.
and G90. So, I'll tell you what some of these mean. Everybody probably knows what that means already, don't you? G0 is rapid. G20 is, geez, I don't remember. My brain was what happened. G40 is cutter comp off. G80 is cancel for your like drilling cycles. G49 and G90. Why don't you look G20 and G49 and G90 up in your book? We're using the whole of this. There's a half of this in here that's probably better for you guys. That's what I was
Probably mark the highlighter. I think I'm gonna stick notes.
I did that. I like tabs on mine.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah, no problem.
I just got on there when that number popped up. I just hit my account. They popped up.
But,
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I found 8 pager, I'm just not.
Yeah, there's a short, oh, there it is, I just found it.
What page?
Well, that would be stuff.
I think this is late.
It says X and Y, it can't be late.
Company name would just be stated, right? It's like,
I believe so, yeah.
I think I just accidentally redirected it. That's probably it. Try page 164. You got the same book he does. The lay stuff's in the very back of the lathe, and then the mill stuff is in the back of the mill, and then at the very end you have a list of all of them, which just makes it more easier because it's more for you guys to get through. You know what I mean? So what's G20 do upstairs?
Huh?
G20, verify each coordinate position.
And what's G49 and G90?
Total length comp, and you say
And
49.
G90?
absolute position command.
So that puts everything basically in a place where we can start writing a program and we don't have to worry about somebody leaving like cutter comps or not. Because it'd be awful if we try to comp it with your head and then that cutter comp be turned on and it does something totally, you know what I mean, that. Or say somebody left it in a pet drill cycle and you put in a couple coordinates and start trying to go drill. This is to keep it from doing anything you don't intend for it to. So we just repeat this line over and over again. My friends and I come up with a nice little word for it or phrase for it, but I'm gonna.
So with cutter comp turned off, you have to literally go into the tool setting to adjust the cutter comp. Right.
Go into, you can comp it with your program. We will do that later. You can offset half the radius of the cutter and program your line around. So if you're using a 3/4 inch end mill, or say a 1/2 inch end mill, and you cutter comp it with your head, you'll just build a box 1/4 inch away on the ground. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now if you use cutter comp, you just program the line. The only thing with cutter comp is you have to go into it and back out a certain way. Like if I was gonna do this with cutter comp, you would start out here, and you would do a G42 or G41, depending on which side you want to be on. You would come over here like this, you would cut up here this way, staying in the G42, and then you would do a G40 and a linear move back up this way. You don't have to do it at 90, you can come in like this if you want, but it has to be at least.
Honestly, I've always seen them like round into it.
That's probably not a human program, that's probably a CAM. CAM programs love doing that crap. You don't want to program an ARC to do that again. It's easier to make a straight line, trust me. So, alright, what's next? Hey, if you want to listen to that video, you got earbuds, I'm using it here. Or you can go to Justin's classroom or out shop. You see where it says middle and leg at the bottom? Did you see that? What did you click to get in there? Oh, you're not that new. You get that now, I'll show you. There's two big green or blue or something buttons at the bottom. Alright, so what's the next one?
Speed.
Spindle speed?
Yep.
And what's my M code?
03.
03. Spindle on forward, right? I put question marks. You guys can figure that part out. So what's the next slide after that, Cameron? What's the next slide after you turn the spindle on?
Move to a position outside over the part.
Yeah. I mean, just when I say that, I want you guys to refer to this one, and then we'll change this one, because that's how you guys
That's
yeah, no.
okay.
Oh, I didn't.
That's what you did on this one.
No, I know. I know. I just wanted to know. Tell me the line of code I used, and then I'm going to show you guys how to
So,
change it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
G54 and your X Y coordinates.
So G54.
Which
Sorry,
are
I
offset.
didn't explain that very well. G54, which is your work offset, or
Yep, work offset.
and then you've got an X something and a Y something, right?
Yep, starting off of the part over the part, so shit doesn't crash.
Yeah. I also, we probably ran away that's gonna make you crazy for a while, because we're kind of careful how we do stuff. You know what I mean? You'll see what I'm talking about if you haven't already. So, I wanna start, this would be face up. So I wanna start down here, somewhere off of the part. And I wanna build this way to someplace up here. So we need to figure out where this someplace is. Now X0, Y0 is in the center. So if I'm off the part, this goes back to what you said, because I don't want to cutter comp it. I'm just going to manually do it. So I've got a 3/4 inch in mill, and I want the round side to be over here like this, so that we're milling over here. So if you program this line like you do with cutter comp, you're going to end up with the radius of the cutter too small. Make sense?
Mhm.
So the distance from here to here is what?
3125.
And then you add half of the 3/4 inch cutter to get
Three and a half. Yeah.
3.5.
Yeah.
You agree? 3.5.
Sure, I might go like 3 3/4 to get a little bit extra clearance on the cutter end.
Well, no, but I'm going X, so you want to be lined up. So I'm just going to go down and go a straight line.
Okay.
So X is what? Negative or positive?
That's positive.
Negative.
Zero's right there. It's negative.
I'm going with the table orientation on that.
I got you. So X is negative. What'd you say? 3.5.
Yep.
So Y, and I usually keep this simple. So center line's here. And my part's an inch, so it's how far from here to here? It's a half, right? From the center. So if I'm in Y, going down the Y-axis, it's a half an inch from the center of that hole to the edge of the part. Follow? Be confused.
I got a question about something else.
What's that?
When it comes to telling the machine where to go with the tool, if it knows the diameter of the tool, can I put where how long I need the part to be? So if I need it, or is it?
The only reason it knows the diameter of the tool is because we're using cutter comp, which we learned that in the next module. Does that answer your question?
Kind of, yeah.
We will do that. We're gonna do it both ways.
Y is 0.875.
Oh, what'd you do? Half the cutter?
Yep.
I usually just cheat. I'll do half plus the whole cutter because it gives me a little extra room, so that I'm not touching when I come down. So if you do 3/4 plus a half an inch, you get what? 3/4 plus a half an inch, you get an inch. Jeez. What is too late in the day to be doing this? What is an inch 250?
Yeah, or no, it's 1/4.
Yeah, inch 250 is inch 1/4. Right? Same thing. I just said it. And now is it positive?
Yeah,
or
it just didn't register for me.
Is it positive or negative?
Positive.
You're down here.
No, yeah, negative.
Think in relationship to here. So here's your grid running right through the center of the bolt holes and then this way. Or the drill holes. So yeah, it's negative. So then what was the next move I did? This is probably going to be the part that drives Cameron crazy. Because I was really careful how that thing went down. Wasn't I? You guys already, well, Cameron's already read the program. He knows how slow it goes down.
Oh, the feed rate 0.5.
So the next one was
Or you gotta get your height offset first, right? So the G43.
Did that one. Did
Height offset.
G4. Yeah. G43. G43. H1 for tool 1. I leave anything off?
Z 1 inch. Height.
Okay.
Height above part.
I want to write like that, so you guys are gonna have to tell me. So I'm an inch below the part, right?
Yep.
Then I have my height offset set. So what's next?
Putting a line in the name, or dropping it down to.
What I do in the old program? That
Oh, you're lowering it down. You're lowering Z down above the part at a slower feed rate, and then it's going to go down to where it needs to be for final depth cut.
Yeah. So the next line is. Jeez, every time I do this, I lose track. John just told me what the line was. That's what I was trying to get you guys to. So here's your height offset. So the next one I do is G01, which is a linear feed move, or linear move. And then I put a feed rate behind it. And then M08 to do what?
Start pulling on.
So G01, some feed rate so that we're not going down rapid right next to the vise. Make sure you leave your decimal place on your feed rate, not on your spindle speed, remember? And then M6? No. What turn's cooling on?
MOA.
What's that from? So what I do after that? Off the old paper, off the program you guys are supposed to read. You're not following? You're lost.
Yeah, I'm just,
Check it easier for me, so when I walk over here, I don't have to look at flags upside down. You know what I mean?
here, I can turn it sideways at least. We both plug it.
You can tell me what it is, then I don't have to walk over here. So what's the next line?
First coordinate?
Huh?
Or no? You just
Drop it usually.
Z drop.
I did Z0, right?
Yeah.
Because that puts us right on the top of the part on the corner. So if you guys have a chance to realize, it's not where it should be, and figure it out, right? Make sense?
Yeah.
So then what's the next thing I do? How far do I go with Z the next time?
Thousands.
So I went down 100. Then I probably go down another. Z0 X of. Oh, where did the face mount on this? I don't have a face mount on this one. What do I need? No. No wonder it's not seeming right in my brain. Alright, so we want to do right side. Here's your zero change, here's your offsets. C point negative 0.1. Now there's what I do next. You guys don't have to fix this one.
This is a different part.
Yeah, but I want you to learn how to copy off the binding of yours. The whole goal is to guide you through it and not do it for you, but help you do it. You know what I understand? So we don't have a face mill. We just get rid of the face mill program.
I'm gonna put it on his office. Well, I try to go in.
Oh, classroom?
Yeah,
You got it? You gonna go in there and work on it?
that was it.
So yeah, you've got the top one for the mill and the next one before the lathe operation. Justy's classroom is the closest one to my office. Who knows how to work on it? Unless you want to wear earbuds.
Well, I was gonna see if I could catch it with my car, I'm not sure I did that.
You can just go in there, it's fine. It won't hurt nothing.
Yeah, I went into the gas station the other day. Lady said, "Here's your headphones." Like, I'm not headed to work.
So, this way. 253, there's the position, it's still the same thing. 243, G01, feed rate of 25, drop 2, Z0, 0.1, that looks like negative 0.1. Actually, I like the 0.1, negative 0.1, but I like the 0 first. And then I try to write the same every time so I don't confuse you guys as bad. So then the next move was a what? We're right here. We're literally going to use this program to write this one. That way you guys write like me, so when you guys have a problem and know where to look, it helps a lot. I had some kids go out on the wild tangent and just write their own last year, and I told them to go home if they wanted help and write it like mine.
Nice. I've heard you negative.
Negative.
Nope, line up.
Huh? Where? That's a 0.
I thought you were.
I did it different, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, you had a negative. That one's got a negative, doesn't it?
Yep.
So we'll just change it. Negative 0.1. Okay? So now I'm 100,000 below, so at least I didn't kill an apartment I crashed into if I did. So then the next move is also a Z. And why did I go down that far?
1.2.
Oh yeah, negative 1.2, but why would I do that?
Make sure you clear off the entire edge.
Yeah, so you don't leave a hook on the bottom. So you've got an inch, I went down an extra 200,000. Then I assume the next one's probably a feed move, right? Uh-huh.
Sorry.
You're gonna figure out what
You're gonna feed. So for starting the negative side, we want to feed from positive y to negative y. So you put
no, I'm gonna feed from I'm down here on the negative side, because when you mill with a C and C, you always go this way.
Yeah.
So I want to go from the negative to the positive.
I was doing
Because 0, 0 is in the middle.
yeah.
So this is negative, that's positive.
Yeah. Sorry, the way I had it was I wasn't trying to climb mill it.
Yeah, but you're supposed to on C and C. You know why? Because you don't have to worry about backlash because the ball screws. And with the mill turning this way into it, it helps hold it in place. That's why you can get away with C and C and it only hold on to like an 8. Or if you do that on the beta machine, it might just go up your face.
Pull out.
So yeah, we want to do a
Slide y negative.
y positive.
Yes.
We don't-
No, sorry, yeah, climbing gas.
You've already got the answer, it's right here. Because 0, 0 is in the middle, so all you have to do is flip the sign. We did a negative 1.250 when we started. So this is a positive 1.250. And you'll go from where you were here, straight to there. But it's probably got a feed rate on it too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Feed rate. I used the feed rate above, so you've got to calculate the feed rate that I put in here to come down is what it's running off of. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to redo this so that it's like that one. Not that it matters what order you put it in. So we'll do a feed. Oops, I did it again. So you've got a y of negative, or positive, I mean, 1.250. And if you do it that way and you don't put an F down here, which you could, then you have to make sure the feed rate up here is correct. When you start dropping down,
Wouldn't your y travel be more than an inch and a half?
why would it?
Because you have
You're negative an inch 0.250 to start with. And then 0, 0 is in the middle. So all you have to do is flip to the side and you'll go to the other side in the same place. So 0, 0
I'm
is right
still
here.
doing half the cutter.
So I told you to go a hole cutter, or I usually go a hole cutter just because it makes the math easier. You don't have to worry about radius. So I did the same thing on both sides. Where I start is the negative, and where I stop is the positive. Just like over here, you'll start in the positive and you'll machine to the negative. If you put 0, 0 in the middle, all your numbers come out the same. You'll have the same x value, flip the sign, the same y values, flip the sign, and it makes programming easier.
He makes setup easier too.
But since I didn't put an F on that line, this last F is what it goes back to. So this has to be the correct feed rate, or you're gonna kill your tire. Now, if you're not sure if the last one was the right one, you can put another feed rate. What's up?
You got a pen?
Drawer right there on the desk. No, top left. Or top right, my left, your right.
Dyslexic.
Tired. And you guys are making me think so hard. Does everybody understand how we got there?
Yeah.
So now, what am I gonna do next? So, what did I do last on the
Opposite side.
Yeah, but what did I do on the code from the last program? What did I do first?
Raise the cutter.
How did I do it though? Did I do a G0? Did I do a G0?
G0x 3.475.
That's not up.
You should have been, yeah,
There's gotta be an up in there. Because that program's ran before.
Z0 250 at the run.
C0. Yeah. So then it's C0. C0.25. So it's gonna stay at this speed rate and it's gonna raise up. And then I did an M8 to shut cooling off.
N9
Or M9 I do.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's why you guys are supposed to
How's
help
it cooling on? I was saying, could you move it over the other side of the piece to cut the other half on, just let the cooling run?
You could. I just chose to shut it off. Because I'm trying to create habits. Just like you could put a feed rate right here, but I didn't because I referred to the one back before.
Yeah.
Although if you're not sure what the one is back before, you better put a feed rate right here. So we cut that side, we pulled up. So the next thing I'm going to do is go to the other side. How is it supposed to happen? So you guys already have all the right numbers for the other side, right? So I'm going to do a G0 for rapid. Assume that's what I did, correct? There's no way I'm going over that.
No, it did. You just had X positive 5.5 inch, and then X negative 5.5 inch. You didn't rattle it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Right there. G0, X of 3.457, 3.475. The G0 is a rapid. Right here.
So we just do opposite coordinates.
Oh, you're still on
What
the,
you
you're
gave
still
me.
on the shovel. We skipped the shovel.
I don't know why.
That's why.
Yeah, I was
You
still
were
doing
confused
face
just like he was.
I was like, wait a minute.
So right side, here's what we just did. Then I have a G0X of 3.475. That moves us over to the spot on that one, so now we need to know what the spot is on this one. The idea is you can use this for a template to write yours. That's the whole reason I wrote it.
Look out so far.
No, I know. That's
I didn't wrap it though. I just haven't put it at the feed rate.
I'm not that patient, and so I did a G0 because you can just do a G0 on the back.
I mean, I'm doing G0s for home positions and whatnot, G01s for turning back to home.
Justin and I just trying to get you guys to write the same way he wrote it in this class. It kills us right now. Because it's slower than it would be in a job like you had this summer. You want to cut out all this little stuff and just go, right?
I didn't make any programs.
Well, no, but the ones you were running, I assume didn't have all these extra little moves in it. Cause
A
you're
lot
gonna,
of it was macro crap.
you're gonna run your cycle time up.
No, if you're running Hasselblad, it doesn't really matter.
Do what?
If you're running the Hasselblad, it doesn't really matter. It's gonna take 3 hours to do a single face maneuver. It's gonna take an hour to drill through it. And you gotta change the inserts out after every operation.
Every operation?
That drill goes through and comes back out, you gotta change the bits.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
That sounds like fun.
it's it's some super alloy. It's got like nickel and chrome and steel in
Oh, it's just harder
it.
than chewy.
It's hard and gummy.
And chewy. Sounds like 40.
Yeah, I had some aluminum angle to do, and the boss wanted to anneal them first. I was like, why are you annealing the aluminum first? Gumped it up. I don't know how many tools I broke off before he decided we don't need to anneal them first. It's like, no time.
And the last day I was there, the night shift guy, or whoever it was, crashed the machine and bent a 2-inch diameter insert drill. And just fucked the tool holder up, fucked the spindle up.
Wow. Somebody crashed hard. So, when I write these, that's one reason I put this on top. So when you guys refer back to it, okay, I don't have a 3-inch face mill. So that goes away, and down here I have left side, which is what I want to do. I want to build the left side of this and the right side. So I do it so you guys can follow. So you can take this little group, turn it into your program.
Enoch doesn't know what to do with this.
What's the problem?
I'm like trying to reprobe it because the spot drill just like didn't go up whenever it was.
I can help the probing how fast.
The spot drill didn't go up.
So I don't know. I'm just a little confused because
It's probably your program. Honestly, but I wouldn't think it really.
I have Enoch looked over my program 4 times.
I'll come with the pro stuff. I'm up to the spot drill.
See if you can figure it out. If not, I can help you. Shouldn't, by the way.
Ooh, that means his spot drill fed into the material.
I don't know. It's John. You don't understand. Sometimes you get out there and look. So let's see if we can speed this process up. So what was my next line? G0,
X and Y coordinate.
X and Y coordinates move across. But if you're only moving one, you only need to put that one.
True.
So I moved it to X. What's my X going to be now?
3.5.
3.5? Okay, I agree. And the next line? What is the plot on there?
Z. 0.1.
Z of positive 0.1? Or negative 0.1? I did something weird on that one. I always put negative. I usually do. No, I usually do positive 0.1. I don't know why I put it at negative. So, okay, here's right side. So we're here. That's where I move to. Right here's I move over. So the next line I do a G01, and I drop to a feed rate of 25. Now let's move. I put that number in there. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, compared to what you.
So G01. Trying to get you guys where you can teach yourself a little. If that makes sense. Makes your homework easier to do, right?
Yeah, I just try to make sure I leave my
So I did a
my
feed
underscore.
Did the G01 to get out of the G0.
I leave an underscore so I know that's where I need to fix my problem. Feed rate.
I didn't have to have one of these to do John's because John talked to me. Because I told John I wasn't going to. I was going to help him, but I wasn't going to grade train it for him, you know.
Man, I'm hungry.
Where you guys are going? We ain't even going to get through this today. So, G0x 3 G01, and then I did a Z of.
I feel like I went through this faster when I was doing this last time, but
Z of
it's been too much time.
A Z of what?
Negative 0.1, 0.1.
A Z of 0.1. And then a feed rate.
Negative 0.1. No, you're right. You're right.
I meant to do positive, so
You're
I meant to do positive on both of them, honestly. So a Z of
Z.1 feed rate. We use 20.
a feed rate of something. I'm gonna do question marks. Because I don't want somebody to watch this video and
Right.
so the next one was what?
M08. We already have that on.
No. The next move I actually went down to negative 1, which is what I usually do.
Huh?
If you look at
So on your feed rate, you have the cooling on, which you already turned it off, so you're gonna turn it back on.
Look at the program I wrote. What's the next move?
Z negative 0.1.
Don't make it up, just copy. Sure. Copy and modify so it works for you. So what's the next one?
Z negative 1.2 M08.
So why did I do that? I went back down so that I was low enough to check clear everything in one spot, right? And then I just screw it back up. Use mine to write yours. All we're doing is modifying stuff. So then the Y is supposed to be? I want to go back this way, remember?
Back down to negative 1.25.
What did I do next on the program you guys ran?
Well, wouldn't you put another feed rate to check that before?
Not if I put the one up here, right? You could. You got one, right?
That's where you were saying earlier, you made a footnote of.
You could. That was not what I was doing. If you don't, it goes back to the last one you used, which is right here.
Right.
Yes. You could put it at whatever feed rate. You put it 60 inches a minute right here, and then down here, you can add another F and change it. It's just kind of up to your discretion to a point. You know what I mean?
Right.
This was supposed to be what? Was this supposed to be 1.5 inches, or is that right? That's right.
Inch and a quarter.
So the next move after the Y was a
Z up.
Which is what I was gonna think.
what's the thing? Too much markup?
Yep.
It worked better that time?
Yeah, I figured it out. Kind of.
You figured it out, kind of.
It works.
You loaded it up with another tool and it just cut better?
I loaded it up with another tool and then I did where and then it worked.
So did it work when you did it before?
I have no idea. I think that tool may have been really warm or something else. But fairly certain it's the program.
Very important is the program.
Fairly.
What did it do?
It countersunk, and it just didn't come up all the way, just drug it across the part.
So if you did a negative 0.1 instead of a positive 0.1.
Probably. But we retouched off the tool anyways, so we'll try it again.
It's gonna be the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, where are we at now?
We can't be wasting material like that.
Where are we at on the program now?
We are down to, okay, here's the thing. Since you guys don't want to talk. Y of negative 1.75.
Oh, we're still. I'm at the countersink. I'm trying to figure it out.
Trying to get you guys to tell me what's written on there so that we can change and make your program. See you, Linda. See ya.
Z up 0.5.
And that'll work for this. We're just trying to get out of the way, right?
Yep.
C of 0.25. What's after that?
M9.
On that line too, right?
Yep.
So what's next?
M5, which turns your spindle off.
By itself?
Yep.
And then what?
Next line is going to be your G91, G28 to return Z to its home position.
G28,
Z00.
0. Then this one is G.
Then you put G29 or 28, G49, X0, Y0. I just put Y0 because I don't want to send the X all the way back home.
Yeah, that's what I told John to do. I just put it in there because that's the way Justin started programming, but I hate sending everything to the corner.
Yeah, just send it forward so I can measure my height.
Because if you send it to the corner, then you get to hand jog it back so you can
I
reach it.
don't. I just like
Just lean over.
yeah.
Oh. Makes sense how we got here? Follow? I mean, you can look these up if you don't remember. Some of the programs are wrote up with little notes or page numbers. If you see a parentheses with numbers in it, it's a page number in your book. So that you can go look up the program and your book will explain it to you. So that one's done, right?
Now I gotta add G90 M01,
G90.
G90 next line M01.
Oh, yeah. So now what are we going to do?
Spot drill.
Spot drill. So how do I start that one?
M06 G02.
Knowing me, I put a little thing up here with
Oh, yeah.
it said spot drill too, right?
Yep. I actually put one as well that's a check length, so I don't just click the program forward again.
So M6T2.
And then you put the whole big old G line of G0, G20, G40,
This is
G49.
how I do it up here. Dot, dot, dot.
Yeah.
Something like that, right?
Yep.
Now what's next?
Your spindle operation. So
Spindle speed, I told you guys to figure out.
M0, you want to turn your spindle on first. So M03, spindle speed, next line G54 for work offset.
And then turn spindle on is again what?
03. No. Wait, does it matter if you put the work offset before the spindle? My bad, I thought it was supposed to be.
I mean, that's a habit of mine. It probably wouldn't matter.
Okay.
I just try to.
It doesn't matter.
What Justin and I try to do is we try to write alike because we're trying to keep. We don't want a difference between me teaching and him teaching any more than we have to. That way, if we commingle classes or say you guys go up to him because I'm in here and say, "Hey, help me," that way he doesn't have to figure out a whole nother process. That's what the dean asked us to do, is to keep the instruction the same as we can all the way across. That being said, I would do things different than Justin at some point, just because nobody does this stuff the same.
Right.
I learned CNC from Justin, so that helps, but. So what's the next line then? Probably
G54.
G54. And then I give it a location. So, what do we want to do first? I usually do left to right, but
Yeah,
it matters not to me.
negative inch and a quarter, or 3/4, Y0.
Negative X, negative inch and a quarter,
3/4.
3/4. Oops. 3/4. Y0. So now we're right here. So what's the next line?
Your Z, your Z height, your G43,
G43.
H2,
H2.
Z 1 inch, or whatever you want it to be.
1 inch. Like I said, if I was running it for ideal, I would not put a 1 inch in there. It'd probably be
Quarter. If that.
quarter. It might even be 100,000ths if I know nothing's gonna hit it.
Yeah, I think 5 we did, but everything was pretty close. Got the drill. Drill's always quarter inch.
So, next.
You want to put your Z, just a regular, like a Z 100,000, so it can slowly go down to where when I finish that, literally that
Yeah.
Z 1 inch, Z 100,000s.
I figured that's what I did. That way, when you guys are single blocking your way through it, and you get here and you notice, hey, I've only got, 100,000s to go, I would not hit the button next to go forward. So then, the next line is,
Z82, which you can cycle for spot drilling. Z negative, I'm assuming that's how deep you want the countersink to go, is what that decimal would be.
what you do is, your spot drill is a 45 on both sides. So you figure out, I told everybody that I wanted a little chamfer on the hole, just to knock the edge off, even after you're done with the
Countersink.
countersink.
For
So if you got a 1/2 inch countersink, then do like 520, 530.
Okay.
The only thing you guys have to watch is, due to the way spot drills wear, they're not usually a true point. So when you guys probe them, they're almost always going to be too deep if you run it that way. So I usually lie to the controller and I'll add 10,000ths or something. If you remember, I think we did the same thing in 101 with you guys, didn't we? I didn't have you guys in 101, did I? That's right.
You mean 111?
Or 111, yeah. I didn't have you guys in 111. I think you guys had Clint.
Oh god.
Right? Because I hadn't taught 111 until this year, so you didn't have me at 111.
That man did not get a shit.
So, you've got your tip coming down with a 45 on each side. So if you figure out the diameter that you want your finished chamfer to be,
Right.
then you just divide by 2. So if I say 530, then it would be,
Be like two,
maybe I say 540 because it's easier math.
no, 220. Or no, it'd be
250 would be half of
Yeah,
500, so half of 40 is 20, so it'd be
270.
270. If I do a 240 hole. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go down 270. Now, like I said, I usually work from left to right. You don't have to. So it's gonna. Is there anything else on that line? Probably feed rate.
Yeah,
Right?
well, you have R,
And you've got a pack
41,
too.
and then your feed rate.
So a feed rate of something,
Yeah.
and then
R was 100,000s.
flip this over a little bit, and we'll do R of 41. I'll try to do a 41.
So what's the R do again?
Oh, R is the retract. That's what it's going to go back up to. So if you ask my students last semester, I was writing programs the night before at like midnight, and then coming in and teaching them the next morning at 8 o'clock. That's not a good way to live. That's not a good way for you guys to write yours either. So, because we started doing it, I told them to flip 0 and put it on the bottom, and I copied and pasted this, and I forgot to change the R. So if 0 is on the bottom, and you tell it to retract point of point 1, what's it going to do?
It's gonna crash.
It goes rapid down to that point line, right?
Italy. Italy.
Oh, yes, it will. Somebody in 117 will probably do it. It might not be YouTube, though. So, there's our CAN program line with our retract and the correct feed rate when you figure it out. So, next thing, I usually just walk straight across because it's faster for the machine.
Right.
But it makes a little more work in this one. Because we have a different location, so we have to change our location, and then we have a different depth, so we're gonna have to change that too. Or actually, 540 probably work for that too,
570.
or 570.
I
But
mean,
we'll
if you want
change
to
it.
clear the tolerance on it, I'll do it. If you just want to say that's within tolerance, I'll do it.
I mean, but I really want you guys to know how to take it out.
So, would it be better just to keep the can cycle going, skip over the middle hole, and then just write a separate one for the center
It's
hole?
no more lines, it's just one more. So basically what I do is location here, the only thing it changes is what?
The depth.
No, location.
Oh, location. Okay.
So what changes? To get from here to there.
No, your X.
That's it though, right? So I've got an X of 0, and then,
Say don't change the zero, Z up.
no,
Never
it'll
track
change.
that.
That's what this is.
That's what the R is for.
It goes, figure it out, did it again, right? You know what's wrong? You probably have a negative R value in there. So the retract is staying about 100,000 and then it zips across. You probably typed it wrong and copied it out of there.
Probably.
I'll fix it up tonight.
Okay.
Actually, look at it.
That'll be here tomorrow at 3. Ish. I'll probably be here tomorrow at 7. Tomorrow. That's super makes it 3 every Friday. That's his contract as long as the high school has school. 3-ish.
Here.
But I'll be here 8 to 5 tomorrow, teaching 8 to 3.
I probably like Mark Friday a bit more. It's like,
I'll be back.
close enough.
So X is 0. Get you over here. And now I want to change the depth. Say we want to make it 550.
So we just put a Z right next to it.
So what's 550 divided by 2?
25.
So you have to do a Z of negative.
So the print says 600,000, so the depth, we just put 0.3 there.
Well, it does have it on there. So yeah, 0.3 works. Negative 0.3. Now once you do this hole, I usually stop the machine and I measure the diameter. Like I said, I raise the tool up too much on purpose. I make it too long intentionally. So I'll add, say, 15 thousandths, 10 thousandths of length because you gotta remember it's gonna double. Then you measure the hole. So say I add that 10 thousandths, and then when I go to do this hole, we said it was supposed to be 540. Say it's 500 because I intentionally did it shallow because shallow doesn't create scrap, right? So then if it's 500 and I want to go 540, then you divide that by 2 and take that off your offset. So then you don't get a perfect 540 hole or chamfer. But once you get this one set, they'll just pop in the rest of them. You don't have to worry about it. That's how you compensate for your spot drill not coming to the point. What's up?
Keeps telling me to close the door and press cycle start. I've closed the doors about a dozen times.
I think that machine needs fixed at some point because I was having this problem. That'll be fine.
Not even 5%. Oh, it's pretty fucked that up.
Yeah, I need to hook up a power source in here, like I did before. Got like a quarter battery left. 36%.
Yeah, so we're supposed to use the, like it used to be, like I liked having the extension cables on all the desks.
Yeah.
You shit there.
Oh, so now we gotta go over here.
Yep. Well, at least now I can just put in my thumb drive.
Right.
I'm not typing that shit on 2 things. I don't get paid to do that. Make sure we cancel.
Poor guy, he sets up a machine and then he shuts the doors and somebody's pushed down on the sensor so much it lets the door being shut, so it won't run. Cause you know how people like to lean on them, I'm guilty of it too. And you guys push the doors down and then we have to shim the little sensor things up so that they're high enough to sense it. I can shut it and pull up on them and I can't even make it sense. Either that or something else. Oh, alright. So x0z of negative 300 to do this one. So the only thing we write is what we change. So now when I go to this side, we're not changing y, but we're changing x. So x is going to be what?
Positive 1,700,000.
And then we changed the depth when we did this one, so we want to go back to so we were up here. And it doesn't matter how you did it. You could have moved from here to this one and then went back to that one, but it's just extra rapid moves from the machine. And I wanted you guys to know how you change it. So if you're in a can cycle, the only thing you change is where you move. It's even the same way in cutter comp. So you can't do a Z move in a cutter comp where it ends badly. But you can do X and Y. So if you're going up and around and the only thing you're changing this way is Y, and then you change Z this way, or X and E, and then you can just go around. So what's after that? I probably did a safe move and then repeated a whole bunch of stuff, didn't I?
Once you're done with the third hole,
Doing
G80 to cancel the can cycle, Z 2 inches.
So anything and a Z of 2 inches, I just did that to be safe and get out of the way. So, like a G83, a G80 cancels. You just change the last thing to a 0 and it's usually they're canceled. Like G42, G40 cancels, and so on. I mean, they're in your book, but if you notice, the first number usually stays the same. Somebody wrote it so they're easier to remember. So G80 cancels can cycle. It cancels every one of these. G90, absolute position, command. G70, multiple circle with a can cycle. That's not actually a cancel cycle. G20, verify each print. G40, color cop cancellation. G50, scaling. G51 cancel. So you got G50 cancel, G51. So if you know the can cycle code, you probably know the other one, but I'd still look. It's like math that's right 99.9% of the time. That one, tenth of that percent's gonna get you. What is it?
yeah, X. You probably bumped the taskbar.
Now there's a fault of guys.
I got too close to it with my shoulder and it just decided, hey, I want to do this. Shirt. Yeah. So then after that, we finished the same way we finish every other program, correct? I believe.
And 5, yeah.
You guys aren't serious going to make the right of it.
No.
So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more lines. So then after this, you do this line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then we're ready to do the next one, correct?
Yep.
So what's our next tool?
M6T3.
Or T3, M6, whatever makes you happy. Doesn't matter. So that's what was that, a half inch in now? That what we said?
Drill.
Oh, drill.
380 drill.
Oh, that's right. I'm ahead of myself. You guys gotta keep me honest tonight, obviously. Sorry. So, 380 is this one and that one. So now you go back to your spot drill, and I wish you guys wouldn't do this, but you can. So if you take that spot drill cycle we just made, cut and paste it,
Right.
or copy paste it to the next one, take out the center hole, and then change a few things, you're gonna go. But we'll do it up here real quick.
Z depth.
Yeah. So
Yeah, if I rewrite the whole thing, it makes me memorize it.
The thing, and that's what I want you guys to do, and the reason is, you guys have a quiz starting next, in the next module at the end of what you did on those with very few notes. So you need to get that repetition.
And even then,
So what's my first line right here? What did I do?
your tool change, so your G0, G20,
G0, G20,
G40,
Not gonna write
G49,
graphs.
G80, G90.
Next,
Either spindle speed or work offset.
I usually do spindle speed first, don't I? Yeah. So spindle speed, whatever it is. Right?
Yep.
And then what turns spindle on forward?
M03.
M3. M03, whatever makes you happy. Next line is what?
G54.
G54. And then you have to have a Z, right?
Did you say
You
Z?
have to have a Z?
For your height offset?
Yeah.
Oh, not for your G54, that's your next line. G54, you just need your X and Y value.
So it's gonna be X and what and Y and what? You guys already know because you just wrote it.
Negative 1 inch 750, Y0.
Negative 750 Y0. Now the line that I was skipping to, right?
Yep.
G.
G43. H3.
And let's see, what we did last time, we looked like you said one.
Yeah, 1 inch.
Gotta be 1 inch.
Yeah.
Cause it's just clearance, right?
Yeah.
Just as long as you have enough clearance, you're fine. If you don't have enough, your clearance is a problem. Try to say Joe, you guys aren't even lucky enough to get it. Or that was so dry you didn't care, I wanted to.
I'm too focused on figuring this out.
So then the next move after the G43,
Z0.1.
0.1. I put us back down to where our rapid plane usually is. That way, if you guys have an opportunity to see something bad before bad really happens and you go into your can cycle, or like he did. I know that's what he did. It's probably an R of negative 0.1.
Yeah. Because it looks like it very much just looked like it went down and it just didn't come all the way up. And just caught
Yeah, it probably went down, and then he put in a Z of negative 0.1 because he typed it at home and not in class, and he handwrote it, and he got confused. And then he went, shoot, and cut a 100,000 seat groove all the way across, and so he drove the next hole, right?
He didn't even get to the next hole. He stopped it each time.
He stopped it. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that's what's in this program. That would explain that. I mean, there's a few other things you can do, but. So, Z of 0.1, and then we go to what? Can cycle, right?
Yep, did 83.
Did I do a G? That's what I used was a G83.
Yep. You used 82 for the spot, 83 for the drill.
83 with a, what I do,
Z,
feed rate or
you did your Z next,
Z next?
then your R, then your feed, then your Q.
Okay, so the Z would be what?
So
So Z0
it's
is the
an
very
inch.
top of the part.
Yeah, it'd be an inch, negative inch plus the angle of the drill bit.
So how do we figure out the angle of the drill bit?
Wasn't it the diameter plus 300 thousandths?
And it's the diameter times 0.3. It's in your book.
Maybe that's something to do.
And then you add that to the length.
Got that to the length of.
You sure it's?
And it's 0.3.
114. Right.
Yeah, that's about right. Because I know what I usually do. I usually just do it anymore.
We'll make it 20 then.
Right here. Calculate drill diameter times x.3.
I'm just gonna go ahead and add 6,000 to make sure.
Here's what I usually do. So you said it came out to what? If you actually did the math completely,
1 inch, 114 thousandths.
1 inch, 114 thousandths.
Yeah.
1 inch, 114 thousandths. So what I usually do is I'll do an inch, 200, negative.
Yeah.
I just make sure I go deep enough. Make sense?
Yep. Just cue how deep it's packing each time.
So then we have an R, and I almost always do the same R, as long as it works. And the Q of
0.2.
0.2. I would not do that with your end mill that aggressively, because you're going to create a hairball probably. With an end mill, if you do like a pecker, like 100 out, then it shoots don't get big enough to catch. Makes sense? Otherwise, they'll wrap around the end mill and you have a hairball.
So no more than 100,000.
You can go more, it's you just
Gotta clean it up.
the chips will eventually, if the chips grab around your fluid, it's going to leave an impression in your part. You'll see where they spin around and around. So if you start having that problem,
It's inevitable.
just adjust it.
It polishes out.
It polishes out. We don't have polished parts in here. If your boss wants you to do that at work, that's fine, I guess. I mean, he is your boss.
What you do is you do your face melt afterwards.
So that it takes all of it off, but then you also don't have a chamfer, so you have to go back and do that again.
Now you can still have a deburring tool.
But it's a CNC, which means you shouldn't have to do manual. I know.
Sometimes it's easier just to
There's always trimming.
So then what do we do next after that?
You'd want to move over to your next hole.
X.
So you move your X
To
positive 1 inch 750. And then, since nothing else changes, we could just cancel the can cycle.
how do I cancel the can cycle
G80.
on there? What did I do? Did I do a Z? I probably didn't do a Z
You
first.
did G80 Z2.
Yeah, that's what I usually do. G80 and then a Z, and I raise the Z up a little higher. And then after that, we just send everything home, right?
Yeah. Are we putting coolant on in these as well? Because
Did I not turn it on?
no,
I meant to.
in every program I've ran you've given me so far, the coolant's on for tool 1. Everything else is just gotta turn it on myself, gotta turn it off myself.
I did that intentionally to start, because it gives you guys a chance to see it without the coolant. So now, if you want the coolant off and on, you turn it off and on in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that with. I'll just do it with the spin start.
I put it on the line right before I.
Okay.
Yeah. That way you can see what's going on. Just like I'd probably do it on the. You could do it on the GA line and shut it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no, I do put it in all of them later. I just don't do it in the first one or two because Justin and I want you guys to see what's going to happen before that happens.
Right.
Besides, it's still limited if it's a drill bit. It's not going to make as pretty a hole, but it still works.
You guys do the coolant off between contact points pretty much.
What's that?
It's saying the functions are locked on 2 of them. How do I get by that?
Why is everything gotta be broke, Dick?
Our CNC's almost never break though.
They're knocking on wood.
Alright, well, this will be fun finished tonight. I'm lucky, if we're lucky, we can get it done tonight and see if it runs into simulators. Then we have a weekend to fix our issues.
Right.
Probably shoot for. We got like an hour left. my laptop wouldn't even last like 20 minutes of time.
I was the last time I used theirs, died pretty quickly too.
Yeah, they are.
But again,
yeah, they're
They also had power use table, so.
yeah.
You just drop a cable from the ceiling right here.
I mean, I'm
I don't know
learning.
why they didn't do 4 outlets.
I mean, I'm learning how to run, electrical cable in trucks to run tail hitches and shit. I mean, I'm pretty sure you gave me some battery wire. I'll figure it out. I promise it'll be sketchy. It won't be OSHA certified, but what's under the bed is under the bed.
So JDA is easy to, you guys know what you're doing here, right? On and on, right?
Yep.
So that brings us to the middle hole. Or, no, you want to do the end mill first, didn't you?
Let's see.
Yeah.
I don't have the tool list, so you gotta have to help me on that one.
Half inch.
So the next one's average end mill. And that's tool 1, 2,
4.
4.
And then we need to put it in a can cycle for it to recognize the Q command, or if I put Q in there, is it going to recognize it as a
The way the can cycles work, if you look in your book, they have parameters that are for them, so that's what makes it recognize it.
Okay, so if I
So
wanted
if
to
you
use
just
the
throw in a
email for
random
drilling,
Q, and the program's not meant for it, it's probably gonna error out.
so if I wanted to, I could just put another, if I put G83 back in here, it's not going to try and copy the first G83, it's going to follow the new can cycle, which is all, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
How did I do it on the one you guys just did? You guys even want me to go over that, or you just wanna write yourself?
Oh, I gotta do battery, so.
Your little carnivore.
So I gotta do battery.
You did a G83 for it.
So I did a G83, and what did I back at? 100 or less?
100. Retract 100, back 100.
So do we wanna go over that one, or you guys good?
Good.
You good? The only thing different about that one is, let's do the Q line real quick. So, he said I did a G83.
Mm-hmm.
What's the next part of the G83 line I did?
How deep it was going. Yeah, Z.
So Z, how deep are we on that one?
Negative 1.3.
For the counterboard, it's half inch.
In the counterboard. It's half inch deep. On the print, see right here? Right there?
Yep.
So it's half inch deep, so we do a Z of negative a half an inch. I'm gonna delete some of this just so I've got more room. I usually put a 0 in front because it helps me remember my period, but the less room I use up here, the better. So then what's next?
After the Z,
Yeah,
you want to do your feed rate, or your retract, which you normally put in actually, which was 100 thousandths, then your feed rate.
I'm gonna put it down here, but you
Yeah.
guys don't do this, okay? So feed rate of whatever,
Yep, and then your peck depth of 100.
and then the Q of 100, which is your pack. Understand? Good? So then the next tool is
Just
this
double
drill.
checking.
So you guys can do this drill, PhD, we just did one. Correct? But I want to do this tap cycle with you, because if you guys get your feed rate wrong on that, it blows up in your face really quick.
I got my feed rate math written down.
You gotta go like out 3 decimal places.
Yeah.
So let's just
three
do that.
decimal places. I only got 2.
You can go out, two will work. I think I usually go 3. What did I
I
do?
think I remember what.
Did I go
the
2 on there, or did I
decimal
go 3? It might have come out even, so I didn't have to.
We'll just put that this.
So let's just do we will go over the can line and that's it on this one. So if I want to do the can line for the drill bit, what is it?
Drill,
For tap.
oh, tap. You don't have a tap, you didn't give us a tap for this. It's only
It's in your book. We need to learn how to look at it anyway. That's another reason. I want to-
tapping and cycle G81.
So find it in here. No, I mean find
Oh,
the actual program, because that way if you guys have this problem, you know what to do. Find it.
So you got can cycled exercise right here.
Should be, should I just press it that way? Yeah, I guess press it that way.
So
Tapping can cycle.
you did it right.
G84.
Yeah. 3, yeah.
I'm glad that I. So G84, now we're gonna do exactly what the book says.
Yeah, we're gonna do rapid X, rapid Y.
In a G84? No,
Yes,
you rapid to that place. That's what that means.
Okay.
So, just like anything else, you write your program, you go to this first spot you want, like we always do.
Yeah.
So then you just basically ignore this. This is what we want to do now. So Z depth is your tapping depth, starting from the rapid plane, or plane, and then J is we're
Retract
tapping
speed.
retract speed. We don't usually use J in here.
Okay.
That will speed it up basically when it retracts.
Mhm.
And then R is your rapid plane, like always, and then F is your feed rate. Follow?
So we're just gonna do Z, R, and F.
Z, R, and F, and we're done.
Okay.
So Z is going to be your depth. And we all know a tap doesn't go all the way to the end, right?
This
It
one's
goes
through.
close. Huh?
This one's through.
No, I mean the tap, as far as you don't have
yeah.
threads the whole way, right?
Yeah.
The first 2 or 3, even on a CNC tap, it runs through.
Yeah.
So we want to go through, if you have enough tap, you could go through like we did with our drill bit. You can go Z of -1.2. Just make sure that, so if this is your holder, and this is your tap, I'm gonna open
You don't want to go above the top thread.
Yeah, you don't want to, if this is bigger than your thread, you don't want to go above the top thread. Some of these are reduced shapes. So if this is 3/4, it would look like that. Some of them look like this, and they're actually the same size or even bigger up here. So say it looks like this one's bigger. Yeah, you don't want to go above your top thread. I wouldn't go close to the top thread. I'd stay like, that's what I did. Sure, I felt that one. So I would stay, 2 or 3 threads under. So that's your biggest worry. If you put a Z of -1.2, take your scale and see where that's at on your tap before you try to run it. Make sure you don't blow it up. I mean, honestly, if you guys run that way, it's fine, but that's not much fun for you all. Justin might shoot me if I run a million taps, too. So G84 Z of -1.2, what's that leave? That leaves the feed rate, and that leaves what, R?
Yep.
So we usually get an R of 0.1, and the feed rate is question. So now if you look in your book, on the page with all the formulas where I just got the drill tip one, it'll give you the answer to what your feed is for that tap. That's probably really close. I don't know where I'm talking about that. We'll just go with it. So your tap should be that feed rate.
1 divided by feet per revolution.
That's probably the way.
Yes, you're right. Lathe.
So what's the number?
1 divided by inches per minute.
1
Or
divided
wait,
by
TPI.
1 divided by TPI
times RPM equals inches per minute.
times RPM. So, whoops. What's it say in your little cheat sheet right there that your RPM should be when you're tapping? For us, it says 100. It says 100. Yeah, you don't have to look. So 1 divided by TPI, what's the TPI?
12.
12?
No, 13.
13.
Have 13.
I say that sounds a little wrong. That's 13. You were close. Times 100. And then all you do is put that in your calculator.
Let's see if I was right with that last test. Might be on.
So for our class, this right here is never going to change. At least not in 117. You get up to 118, 119, we might mess with you. We might change it.
I was off by 2.
Where you?
I was off by 2 thousandths.
So the one always stays the same, it's a constant. So the only thing you should ever worry about is this number right here. All through the formula and go. Everybody feel better now? Can everybody go home and finish this?
I'm just gonna finish here, just start our class test. That's a question I asked.
You guys are in better shape than some others. Because you saw what he was writing about, unfortunately. And he's in an 8-week class, so he's 3 weeks into the semester. This was the end of the 3rd week. Whereas this is your all's 3rd week, so you're technically only
A week and a half.
a week and a half compared to them. So you're in much better shape than he is, but let's not get there. This class will eat you if you get behind. Because then the projects just stack up and
Right.
multiply on each other, and then at some point you're like, hey, I don't know. That being said, when we get to the middle, you guys love to delay. Delay this is so much easier.
Lathe was so much simpler.
I know there's a reason why Justin started with this, but I'd almost rather teach starting with the lathe.